Hi folks, welcome back to the Hoard. So it's about 3:45. It is 11/2/15, about 64, 65 degrees. Welcome to Monday. That's what that's trying to tell you. For our friends overseas, a clock I didn't change, 16.0 centigrade and 47% humidity. And the sun is beyond my batteries here, so there we are. Today, just quickly, I spent a few minutes digging this out. It's a shed in the back, box shelter logic. It's a 12 by 12 by 8, so that's what it looks like. I picked it up at that airport flea market, but they sell them at Tractor Supply and all that, so if anybody wants to get one, just so you can see what it looks like. That's where it's going to land. You guys could see I started cleaning up, but what today's video will be about, it's going to be about I dug up the remaining Baja Warrior, and I spent a good bit of time on this, and I wanted to show you a few things. There are some videos. I'm putting a torque converter on this engine and making it so it clears the bottom here and all that stuff. And just to give you an idea, here's the piece I cut out. Right, so I mean it's a good size hunk that you got to remove. I traced the whole thing before I cut it out. There's an old Valentine's card from my son to his girlfriend. But so once again, you guys could see it's a good size hunk that needs to come out of there. So that's one thing you need to do. The other thing is you got to kind of rotate this upward a little bit. It makes the fit go better. So the way I did it is there was a hole here and a hole here and this divide, that great divide right there. So I started out by drilling a really tiny hole in that great divide. Then I went up just a little bit bigger, so it was almost the whole size, and then the final drill. But unfortunately, last but not least, you have to finish up with a file, right? So you guys could see how I did that. I have 2 bolts in, obviously 2 more bolts go in, right? Real exciting here. So anyway, there's that. So one needs to, I enlarged those holes with a drill press, no big deal. I use this for something else. And then cutting a piece off the bottom. And the way I marked it, I just took a marker and ran it along. So you could see how much I cut off. And you can see the way the gas plug fits in there. I think you guys could see it. See, I had to I had to nip the corner of that, the oil fill off too. So it looks like it's on there. The stuff on here, I put a little anti-seize, so should I have to take it apart. And I made sure when I tightened everything down that I didn't overdo it and put pressure on the spring clip. The chain that was on there between the chain reduction and the back wheel, that same chain is what this thing is currently wearing, and you guys could see I have plenty of adjustment here, and I kind of need it, so I'll be pulling that back. The engine's all the way forward currently, and I went all the way forward because I'm still trying to squeeze in here. I might have to chew on this a little bit, or I might even have to remove it entirely. I'd kind of like to keep the chain guard on, but it might not come to be. This thing is gonna cover up right to here. I mean, there's only, you know, not a lot of section of chain, and rolling backwards, that's a finger remover, right? You roll backwards and it's gonna chop your finger off. Going this way, it'd have a tendency to, you know, kind of destroy your fingers. That is not destroying them. You can't get out of there, and that'll chop them. But so I'm thinking, even if I do have to remove the upper chain guard, and it's kind of leaning that way, that that could happen too. Some of the guys beat this down, right? I used the grinder to cut it right off. It made it easy, right? I used the grinder to cut across there too. The old 4-inch grinder. Don't forget to wear your protective wear, right? You don't need to fill your eyes up with metal. It hurts. Doctor's visits are expensive. And lastly, to take that clip there on and off, you need one of these. You can probably use a screwdriver and start prying on it. The only bad thing about that is you have a tendency to damage the clip. This bike, the folks that watch me regularly know this bike came from Tractor Supply. It was new, never sold, or if they did sell it, it was a return, a low mileage return. Then the nubs are off the tires. Front end. Yeah, you guys could see the nubs are pretty much worn. So it was probably sold and used for a little while. The person liked to turn right. And it had sat around, and the way they had it sitting, and they took the air cleaner out and all, it had gotten water into the engine, and I mean it went into the carb and it went right into the engine, and this thing was water seized. So I did manage to break it loose. It wasn't all that hard to break loose, but the compression wasn't very good, and I was a little nervous about running it like that. I did start it and let it run for like 10 seconds, but I wasn't thrilled about running it for real like that. So I broke it open, and there's a few videos if you check back to the history of my channel there. I ended up having to take the whole thing apart and use like some 600 grit paper to clean. I had to clean the bore up. I had to clean the cylinder up, the piston. Really had to clean up a lot. I changed the carburetor. I actually had to take the valves and clean that whole area up to bring this engine back to life. Since doing that and changing the carb, she fires right up and she runs good. So I guess, assuming this part of the torque converter, the centrifugal part of the torque converter, goes on without too much trouble, I'm probably going to stick with this engine. I don't see a reason to go to a Predator. This bike I'm going to doll up, so to speak, make it the more of the performance model. You guys could see I got a torque converter on there. I know, ho hum, very exciting, but that'll make a difference. It'll give me more low end, it'll give me higher top speed. So that's one thing I did. The second thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to smash a Honda carburetor on here. I happen to like the Honda 200S carburetor. and I've been doing a lot of cleaning up, so I don't have any immediately handy. But yeah, I'm going to smash a Honda carburetor onto it. And you know, I've seen a couple of videos where people have done things with the exhaust. I might do that also. I guess probably I'll come down. I don't know. Hopefully I have enough space. I can kind of come down along the chain and get back here somewhere. So while I was doing things, I was very careful. I don't know, could you guys see down here where the chain is? I tried to be very careful and make sure I had plenty of space so that the chain is not hitting the torque converter on either side. I don't want it to hit the driven pulley or the aluminum here, and it seems nicely centered. So I think I got this in pretty good shape. It's just a matter of, you know, finding its final resting spots, getting it there, torquing all this stuff down, and being happy with what I got. Yeah, I got to put the driven side on. I wanted to show you this before I, you know, put this on. Doesn't do much good if you're doing a how-to video and, you know, you're riding a mini bike up and down the driveway. That doesn't tell somebody how to do it. This plate comes before you put all of it together. I would take the plate, bolt it up to the engine, and use the standard holes, which would have been this center hole here before I messed with it. And you're relatively close to it, but I would use the standard hole, kind of get a rough idea where everything is, what you got to remove. Some torque converters have an extra, see these fins here, they continue over here. This one looks like they cut out deliberately for a clone engine, so it doesn't have that extra fin, but still I did have to trim. I don't know, could you guys see it? I did have to trim that oil filler. So you start out, take it out of the box with the engine on there where you want the engine to be. You put this plate up against there, kind of get a rough idea. I drew a line on the bottom, marker right along the bottom. I cut the plate. Right, you can see my pulley isn't bothering anything here. Put it back on there. By slotting these, it gives you a little extra up and down movement. Probably this is going to go. By getting rid of it, it actually cleans things up a bit. Actually, it cleans things up nice, so I'm probably going to get rid of that. I'll leave this on. It's not causing me any trouble back here, but I'm going to cut this off. Then that allows the torque converter to go right on. By getting this out of here, I did give my leg a little bit of a charbroil, so by getting this out of here, it'll move the exhaust and then back here. So with a better exhaust and a better carb and the torque converter, this should be a nice bike. Rex 4x4 did one of these conversions, and he's beating that bike around. He's doing a pretty good job with it. And as a matter of fact, if you look up Baja Warrior torque converter, there's a guy selling torque converters on eBay. I think he's asking about $150 for him. And he puts a link in for a video, so you can take a look at that. Once again, it's not a small piece that you got to cut off there. It's a good size hunk, right? Just put that in the scraps metal pile. Structurally speaking, that piece of metal is doing nothing but holding the cover on, right? You guys could see it's not structural in any way. I didn't cut any of the extra supports or anything, right? I didn't cut any of this stuff. So there we are. I think, once again, I think you could pick up a torque converter for anywhere between $129, depending on if somebody's got it on sale on eBay, and $200. The Comet torque converter is the best. I don't think this one is a Comet. This one came from BMI, BMI carts. I think it was $129. I can't remember. I've had it quite a while, so please forgive me for that. Anyway, folks, I want to thank you all for watching and commenting and subscribing. Remember to get out there, enjoy all your days. Winter is coming, even though it's like 60 out now, and when winter comes, you got to be ready. I'm getting there very slowly, very surely, but I figured I'd throw a video up just to show you guys that I'm still kicking. The videos on cleanup, and quite honestly, doing only cleanup is getting really old really fast. So you're going to see that there'll be some cleanup and some real videos, because I'm about as sick of cleaning up as you are about watching me clean up. One comment about this shiny ceiling stuff. Obviously it's stapled up, but it's stapled 2 foot on center. So when the wind blows and only one door is opened, given that the attic is ventilated through the soffits and through the ventilage on top, it has a tendency to billow, to pillow, to balloon, to whatever. I mean, not enough to break or anything, but it does have a tendency to flutter in the breeze due to the pressure changes. If the doors are opened, particularly if they're open straight through, that doesn't appear to be a problem, and if they're closed, that doesn't appear to be a problem. It's mostly, I notice it when one door, or only the doors on one side or the other are open. It seems to create some kind of pressure between above and below, and you could see it kind of flutters a little bit. Anyway, folks, I want to thank you all for watching and commenting and subscribing. Remember to keep your feet down, keep your head up, and folks, please get out there and enjoy all your days. Remember to have fun. You don't know how many days you're going to get, how many days everything's going to be working for you and all. So get out there, enjoy them, and have your fun. Bye now, folks.